Well, hello everyone. I can see my stuff going. Hey, Kevin, you want to say something and say hi to the people? Welcome to the happy hour.
Fuck everything.
All right, well, I think you guys should have seen or heard that because I did do a test earlier and all of that should be working just fine now. I don't know why the intro music stopped. I had it playing. Maybe it ran all the way through. But hopefully you guys can hear us now, and I see that there's a lag, so I'm gonna wait as usual. Kevin, happy... Oh, it's Valentine's Day.
It
Did you
is, but I
notice?
don't celebrate. I
No.
don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but I do celebrate James Cook getting stabbed to death by some badass Hawaiians in 1770 Day. So, congrats there.
All right. All right, so they can hear us, but Mallory, can you hear Kevin too? Voices. Yes, they heard
That's,
Kevin.
by the way, just to
Yes.
explain, that's James Cook, the imperialist, colonialist guy who tried to king of Hawaii and got stabbed up for it.
Okay, I
So
was kind of wondering.
that's why that's a good thing.
That seemed a bit random, but I just was rolling with it. As I talk. All right, so.
Well, sort of like imagine a mini Columbus. If mini Columbus got stabbed up by mini, not Hawaiians but other native folk, that would
Oh,
be
okay.
the equivalent. It's a British Columbus, basically.
All right, got it. Okay, so on that happy note,
I
to
thought he
start
was
the show.
quite famous. He's certain Australians would have known who he was. He was the first Briton to land in Australia.
Okay.
Sorry,
Well,
apologies.
yes.
I thought he was in America. He's symbol of like white supremacist here, so I thought America would know, but never mind.
Yeah, if it doesn't involve us in any way, no, we don't know that.
Well, he's a state now. I know it's one of the freak states, but it's a state. I thought its history would be interesting,
but only for like
apparently not.
Since the 1950s, right? Like we didn't pay attention to what they did before that. They're like, strategically valuable. I don't really know the story of Hawaii. Maybe I'm just throwing shade where I shouldn't. So we just did. I'm going after the Pacific Island.
Oh Jesus Christ! You're gonna end up like fucking War Corps. You're gonna end up to release statement of apology to Hawaii. Why is Hawaii going after so many YouTubers? It's crazy. Let's put it on Hawaii.
I did official apology to New Zealand and their talented peoples last time in the last show. Don't you remember?
No. Why? What did you say about New Zealand?
I'm not going to go and talk about Taiki. I can't even pronounce his name if it's not written down. I still can't do it. Anyway, we're going to talk about...
Oh, yeah. Someone pronounced that. Apparently I was sort of wrong, although I was still lucid with it. And there's no... Yeah, Tony, don't even start with that. I looked it up because I wanted to know the date earlier, and it's ridiculous. For an English speaker, there's no fucking way you can pronounce that. It's like... It's lots of letters, something, bay, and there's no way a speaker can pronounce it, so I'm not going to try.
Is it like Welsh cities?
Sort of, but more, Pacific Island type.
Right, but
names.
in terms of impronounceability.
But yeah.
Along those
absolutely.
lines. Well, hey, welcome to the happy hour. We are happy we have sound on both ends. Wait, that didn't come out right. Normally, you don't want sound on both ends. Yeah, but this time we did.
Okay.
If you sneeze and you fart at the same time.
This is strange.
Anyway.
A little bit of pee comes out and you just think, I'm an adult. Why am I allowed? Why is this still happening? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go and sleep forever. Bye.
But we are here to bring you, well, the usual. We're going to try to lighten it a bit by only talking about YouTube racists as opposed to the racists in the White House. And also I see Boris Johnson is making some power moves in his capacity to be rather executive in his exercise of authority. On your side.
You say that, but actually it's Dominic Cummings, really, who, I mean, officially allowed by Johnson to remain as Prime Minister, a cabinet reshuffle, which was nice of him. I, for one, look forward to a bald-headed, fucking horrific fascist overlords. Honest, God, It's depressing. Yeah, particularly massive power grab by minister. essentially forcing the hand of the Chancellor of the Exchequer, also a prick. So it's like watching a fight between both people, and you want both of them to lose, which is impossible. Right? It's like a fight to death, and you want no winner.
Well, it's like when the Bears play the Cowboys, you just root for injuries. That's kind of mean.
Yeah. I mean, I don't particularly care about that. I just Dallas can suck all of the dick. Anyway, what was I going to say?
Good life skill to have.
Yeah. So the step down because but for a city doesn't need to be doing that. That's geographically improbable. Anyway, so the Chancellor of the Exchequer, basically the Prime Minister wanted him to get rid of all of his team of advisors and have only team advisors that the Prime Minister vetted, which no one in their self-respecting human being with a backbone ever accept. So he stepped down and has been replaced by another guy who did accept it. So yay. Who one's ever heard of, called Rishi Sunak. He's I mean, literally, I can't even tell you anything about him. He's just a person. He's Johnson's straw figure person who's pretending to be Chancellor for the next few years, whilst Money Cummings pulls the strings, which is depressing. But anyway, oh yeah, and fuck the Chiefs as well. Arian did. Anyway, so yeah, that's happened.
Okay. Yeah. And in the United States, well, let's see. We talked since there was the Friday Night Massacre. So since then, Bill Barr interfered in the Roger Stone case to try to reduce the sentence recommendation.
But he wasn't. Trump asked him. Trump didn't ask him to do that. Honest, there was no communication. It was just complete coincidence. Obvious.
Right. It was so completely not a problem that Barr had to go on television and talk about the fact that Trump's tweets are making it harder to do his job.
Yeah.
Because Trump is saying the quiet part out loud. That's the problem. That's why he can't do his job, to help Trump get out of trouble. So yeah, now we've got interference in the Justice Department. There's also, yes.
Although, it's, to be fair, what's now happened, it seems, is that the sentencing guidelines for the Stone case have been placed into the hands of an independent lawyer or whatever counsel it's called, because Trump said the quiet bit loud and gave the game away.
Yeah,
because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer's already called for the Government Accountability Office to look into and audit this process, and Jerry Nadler is talking about investigation.
Well, if I were exactly, yeah, absolutely. You can't have the idea that you can have an independent jury when that's happened. Level is just so unbelievably corrupt. If I were the judge in the case, I'd immediately order a independent review on this, because there's no way this can be seen. Because it's not just that justice is done; it's that justice is seen to be done, and there's no motherfucker looking at this case thinks justice is done. Not a chance.
No. So I mean, all four prosecutors resigned within 24 hours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, there's no way this is now an acceptable situation. And 7 to 9, considering the included the dating witnesses. Yeah, that seems fair enough. Trump, I love it when Trump said that the prosecutors needed to go back to school. I'm sorry, what legal thing does that fucking orange prick have exactly to make that assessment? Because last time I looked, he's got nothing.
Nope.
Last time I looked, he can't even say words like fucking bigger. He has bigly. So I'm going to take the advice of the people who actually know what they're doing. Yeah. Let the adults deal with the situation, Donald.
The judge can't order an independent investigation. That is part of Congress's oversight authority, which is why Chuck Schumer. Look. But even the judge, whatever the judge decides to do, will be seen in the light of that now. As you say, it has to not only be fair, it has to be seen to be fair. And Eric Swalwell is talking about impeachment again. Trump, if he were elected, could be facing a second impeachment already. Like, as soon as if he got elected, if he got sworn in, he would already be facing impeachment for what he did here and what he's going to do in between now and the election. That's the thing.
I think regardless of what happens, he'll pardon Stone. Because either way, what'll happen is he'll have to wait till after the election, I think. But what he'll either get voted down, and in the dead duck period,
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
he'll quit
undoubtedly.
him pardon him because he's got nothing to do, or he gets elected and therefore he's not going to fight another election.
Yeah, he
And
won't
so
care.
therefore it doesn't matter, and he'll just start pardoning people left, right, and centre. Everything.
Yeah, Manafort and Stefan or the Papadopoulos. Stephanopoulos, he's a reporter.
Well, maybe not so much with
Anchor.
Not George Stephanopoulos, little lad.
He doesn't need a pardon.
No, not so much with Manafort, I think, because Manafort said some things, hasn't he? Which were not necessarily very nice towards Trump.
He still stands
loyalists like Stone. Oh yeah, I mean they all do to a degree. Apart from you get the odd crazy motherfucker like the mooch.
Yeah, he's trying to interfere in the Flynn case too. I mean, all of that stuff is now, it's corrupt. But yeah, the mooch.
It's so obviously the case. But they do this stuff all the time, right? When people said that they've elected a YouTube shitlord to the presidency, that's not incorrect, because they literally do this thing where, well, I didn't say the words quid pro quo. Well, obviously, because you didn't know that phrase until the fucking whistleblower's report, you twat. You can't speak English, let alone Latin, you fucking idiot. And of course, no mafia boss ever says, if you don't do this thing, I'm going to break your fucking kneecaps. You say, maybe it's in your best interest that you do this.
Yeah.
Because that's the way all of those shakedowns go. Like, what the fuck? And just because you didn't, I mean, I still think he probably did literally ring up Bill Barr and say, do this thing, because he's a fucking idiot. But even if you didn't do that directly, you tweeting out, this is a disgrace, what an abuse of 7 to 9 years is out of order, these people need to go back to school, that gives you a pretty clear indication that the loyalist you have picked for that position, who is not independent the slightest, regardless of what he says in that interview yesterday, is going to do precisely that. So, yeah, you didn't directly come out and say, Bill Barr, do this thing, but we can all see what you're doing, okay? So no amount of, well, technically, I didn't say the thing, gets you out of it. You fucking idiot.
Yep. So the descent into banana republicanism continues in America.
That's nice. Banana republicanism. That works very well. That's a pun. That works on 2 levels.
It works on, yes. And you throw some sort of apparel-based thing in there too to bring in the Banana Republic. It'd be like a bar with a triple punchline. Be great. All right, so that's what happened in the real world. Now let's just talk about whatever happens to be in my feed. So yes, I showed.
Should I?
Yeah. Oh, do you want to share?
Do you want me to show my book? My very, very, very serious bookmark.
Oh yes.
Now, usually I only have one bookmark, and it's a really silly one, right?
Now, are you going to share when you're ready?
I'm gonna share right now, Krista.
Okay, because I have to move it to the screen.
Is it doing that now?
I have to. Let me look. I don't want to put the meeting ID, so I'm waiting for the window to pop up.
And what? Oh, hang on. Screen share. Share.
There you go.
This one. It's from Turning Point UK Glasgow, which is a satirical thing. It says
hold on. Wait. The window got stupid. What's it doing? Hold on. It's sharing to the wrong screen. I have to.
Okay.
No. Sorry, everyone. We're still learning Zoom. While we're on air, which is never a good time to be doing this. Viewing.
That's the best time to be doing it.
Exit full screen. That's what I wanted. Oh, thank God. Okay. Now let's try this one more time. All right. Hopefully this is working. Now I want full screen.
Is this working?
Fit to window. No. This sucks. Wait, just give me this. Sorry, everyone. There we go.
Just
okay.
share.
Yeah, it's full screen now.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Anyway, it says here, Graham Linehan will harass trans people for their appearances while looking like he was grown in a test tube from the crusty spunk from the bottom of Quasimodo's fleshlight.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what you wanted to share with the people.
That made me laugh so hard I nearly died. And whilst there'd be some people who will say that's not very nice, and it's not very politically correct, Can you say it's inaccurate? Is the question I will pose in response.
I'm generally of the view that if you use a line of attack, you open yourself up to its use. So if
I'm an ugly bastard. I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Say anything ruder than I've said myself? I think not.
Yes, and Graham does, and he's menaced people in many ways. So I won't be standing him going no. All right, so So
that was my very, very serious thing. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you all learned something from that.
Why did you change your name to Cock and Balls?
I didn't. What happened was the very first time I ever used Zoom was I went onto the thing and it said type in a name, and I thought, well, I can't remember who it was with, but I didn't really know them at the time. So I thought, well, I'm not going to put my name. And so I just put Cock and Balls. And that was about 4 fucking years ago. And so every time I've come back onto Zoom, including all of the shows we've done together, have all had me down as Cock and Balls. So that's not changing.
Last time I thought it said Kevin. It's just weird now because I'm looking at it. When I'm talking, it says Talking Kristi Winters. But then when you talk, it says Talking Cock and Balls.
Yeah, which is fair.
Okay.
It's even better when you have the 2 icons on the screen, because mine will literally flash up when I talk as Cock and Balls will come up on the screen. Nice. That's always fun.
Oh man. Okay, so there was that story, and we've got some more Graham glitter. I have to share my screen.
I like the fact that you said that story. That wasn't a story, Kristi. That was a joke.
Anecdote?
That was an adult pretending to be an adult, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was an anecdote, at least, I'd say, in there. I showed you.
It was an antidote to boredom.
All right, so you should be able to see the screen now with the green light all lit up.
I can. Hello, Alex Kaplan.
Yes. Well, I wanted to give the shout out to Septic Snowman because that was the person who.
Hello, also Septic Snowman.
Yes, who was in my feed. But yeah, this happened today. This is the confirmation. Nick Fuentes.
Nazi fuck.
My YouTube channel has been, not wrongly, terminated today for an alleged violation of hate speech policy. Gee, you're a complete racist and bigot. I'm believing that so far.
Yeah, I wonder if it was the millionth time or the 2 millionth time you mentioned the fucking Holocaust being fake. I wonder if that was it, maybe.
Probably.
Not you. Not Kristi Winter. I was addressing that to Nick rather than to Kristi.
Yeah.
Because she's only mentioned it about 20 times. So, you know.
Yes, and only to refute it. And he writes, this is the end result of a concerted effort by leftist conservative Inc. gatekeepers in Silicon Valley censors to silence my show and the movement it has inspired. So you said racist things and you got caught. That's what it means. I
like the fact that Silicon Valley censors is one of the more creative ways of he's ever said Jews.
Is that the
usually it's like, usually it's something like globalist elites or something. So it's an interesting development. I do hope you rot in obscurity and die alone, you horrible piece of shit.
So we got it in the chat again, by the way.
That's to Nick. Yeah. That's to Nick.
Yes, no, not to me. All right.
No.
Taika Waititi. That's the director's name. I'm practicing. I'm hoping that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, that's. I mean, that's nowhere near as difficult as the name of the place where James Cook was killed. Just in case. I don't know if anyone wants to type that out and see if he can pronounce that shit.
Is that Howden Sawney? Is that the place? Because Haruka.
No, this was.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I don't know what that is.
That might be.
I'm not sure that's a real thing. That might be been invented by that person to fuck with us. I don't know.
Yeah. So, bye, Nick.
I can't remember. I'm sure Wisconsin is a real place. That sounds like a mad place to me.
It's a cool place, especially in February when there's snow. It's very cool.
Yeah, very fucking cool.
Like Canadian cool.
Plays outdoors in short sleeves in 2 feet of stuff.
Well, there is a tradition of when it finally, it's in Fahrenheit, so most of the winter it's like below 0 or at 0 or 20 degrees or something. So in the spring, the first day where it clears 50 degrees, which would be 15 degrees Celsius. Is that right? 30 plus... No, that's 60 is too much. It would be 10 degrees Celsius. 20 plus 30 is something like, 50 degrees. So when it's 10 degrees Celsius...
10 degrees Celsius is... 10 degrees Celsius isn't that cold.
No, but that's when you wear shorts. You break out the shorts. Okay. You start wearing shorts. Yeah. But
there we go. Tony Blake, what? Pronounce that.
Oh, this one. Oh, I can't pronounce that. That looks like that Welsh city. That's completely
that's where he got. Oh no, that is the Welsh city, but the one.
Oh, above it.
Tony Blake got killed, and I can't pronounce that. Ki
Kwa Bay.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty, but unpronounceable for my white tongue. My tongue is very European.
I should have called it James Cook was killed here.
Was shanked
would
here.
Have been awesome.
Shanked. It would have been better.
Exactly, he got fucking shivved up proper off. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, that happened today. Oh yes, we were just Michael Bloomberg was dragged all over. We're not going to listen to him for his stop and frisk. He has been for about a week, and he's trying to address it. That was that.
Which is, it's so funny because he obviously hasn't really changed at all. It's just he's running for president now. So he's like, I'm down with the blacks. Honest, it's fine. I know I said all that stuff about wanting to bring back redlining like fucking 10 years ago, but honest, I like the blacks now.
Well, the fact is he's doing well. He's sucking up a lot of Biden support in the black sort of voting demographic now. Not in the under 35s, but in the over 35s he is.
Yeah.
So, oh, right. Yeah, right. Also, just Essence of Thought is organizing an event in case they're sued. So I would recommend.
Yeah. Do you want to explain how I've been press ganged in this?
Well, I don't know how much of it is out, so I don't want to step on anyone's toes and say what the details are. But
okay.
I will say that Kevin, if all of this goes off, will be doing something he's never done before. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Exactly.
And we'll see what happens. Just give you the
butt stuff.
Well, that's just every, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. It's a Friday night. What you got going on?
Yeah. Hashtag lime green dildo.
But as a great philosopher. Exactly. But as a great philosopher once said, life isn't all about butthole pleasures. So.
No, just 95%.
That's from the guy, the little Asian guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin. And it's just hilarious to see this Indian man saying that.
I missed that movie.
You can. There's nothing particularly good about it. That scene that I remembered from my headspace.
All right.
Anyway, let's see. From one racist American dude to another. Not Jason Campbell. There you go.
Yes.
God.
Now, I have to say, having watched this myself earlier, I know that most of it is at the end, and it's 1:38, so we can watch the whole thing if you want, so we get like this setup, and then we can kind of discuss it, because there's the
more I can't enough of Dennis, so Dennis News. I need to see Dennis constantly.
All right, so before I will say this,
you can never have too much beer in your life.
Yeah, it's important to get to the end of the video because he kind of modifies his statement in a way that I think is worth discussing why he's still wrong. Because I think it's easy to straw man this based on just looking at the tweet without listening to the tape, as it were. But in this case, I think it's important to listen to it all the way to the end and wait for the criticisms to the end so that we get our criticisms right. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Semitic and anti-black language.
Oh, sorry, I gotta.
I wasn't, because I don't think there is a hatred of Jews and blacks in the United States. I was talking about private anti-Semitic and anti-black language used by Presidents Truman and Nixon.
Yes, that's correct. My mistake. Excuse me. But you mentioned that President Truman used to use the N-word all the time. So
Why didn't I say K
why
word?
didn't you say like the K word?
Because the left has made it impossible to say the N word any longer. That's disgusting. It's a farce. It's the only word that you can't say in the English
We'll break
language.
this down. We'll break it down.
That's a
So then why is it okay to say the K word?
because the left doesn't give a damn about that word. Because that's why. The left runs the country in the culture. The Republicans have the Senate and the presidency, and that's very important. But the culture, and the more the left controls, the more totalitarian it is. That is not an attack; it's a statement of fact, like 2 + 2 = 4.
We'll get there.
It is idiotic that you cannot say the N word. Idiotic. Of course, you should never call anybody the N word. That's despicable. But to say the word, you can't even say that the word is despicable. You have to say the N word. All right, that's the answer.
All right. So, discuss. I don't know. Where do you want to start with that?
Well, let's start at the start. He says there's no hatred of blacks and Jews in America.
Hello? What?
Yeah.
That's what they were chanting in Charlottesville.
Fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were chanting, Jews will not replace us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's hatred.
let's just use, I don't know, monkey drawings of Obama. There's the 2 very, very fine and high-profile examples of hatred against Jewish and black people in America.
Yep.
You fucking cretin, Dennis. Oh God, where else? The left becomes more authoritarian, but then also says the Republicans have got the Congress and the Senate. That's really important, even though they're literally becoming a sort of dictatorship.
Yep.
Which is interesting. More authoritarian, like interfering with legal cases in order to get friends who are obviously guilty scot-free.
That's not authoritarian, Kevin. Come on. That's just doing favor for your white supremacist friends.
Yeah. Also, the left most certainly do have a problem with the K word. Because when Kristi said she wanted to talk about this topic, my instant thought went to, is it okay, therefore, to say the K word? Would he be okay with that? Which apparently he is okay with that. I don't know why, because the same basic rule applies to that word as would apply to the N word. So I don't know, maybe self-pitying victim playing bullshit that the left don't care about the Jews, which again is fundamentally incorrect. Again, it wasn't leftist marching at Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Well, there were leftists there, but they were the ones
Protesting.
fighting the people.
Yeah.
So again, look at your own fucking side. Look at the fact that Donald Trump, one of his first actions was what's called de-Judification of the Holocaust Memorial Day in America, where he put out a statement which didn't even mention Jewish people when talking about the Holocaust. But you're a big fan of Donald, aren't you? It's almost as if you don't really give 2 fucks about Jews yourself. You're just doing it for your own political ends. You sick, twisted little man. So yeah, I mean, and not just that, but Dennis, if you're such a bastion of free speech and such a great anti-PC warrior, say the word. I fucking dare you. Say the word, Dennis. You know you want to. Or are you just a coward who knows it's wrong and knows why people think it's wrong, but you don't have the fucking sack to actually step up and say it? Because you're not the freedom fighter you think you are. You're just a pathetic, scared old man who's seeing your socioeconomic system being flushed down the toilet. And rightly so. Fuck you.
Okay, over?
Mm-hmm.
All right, because sometimes you take a pause and you're just taking a breath. The thing that did stick out to me, and I agree, in terms of your takes, all the points that you've already noted, but he keeps trying to make this about private use, or just somehow this neutral use of the term, a descriptor. Like you can't even say it's the wrong thing to say. You have to say the N-word is the wrong thing to say. And this idea that it's somehow an affront or wrong to even make that particular word but I would say all slurs, even inappropriate, even in private, because it's if you say one thing when you walk out the door, if you call them black people or African Americans, or whatever term, I guess those are the two most popular terms. But behind closed doors, you drop the N-bomb with the hard R. That's just a racist who's a racist behind closed doors. Our language shapes our perceptions. And if you're using that language inside, that means you're thinking about people in that way. So that's the whole thing about making it, why that particular word especially, the way that it was used as a term of abuse and associated with the dehumanization of people, right? That as someone who, he himself is Jewish, should understand the pathology of anti-Semitism and the dehumanization of it and the othering of it and how it stops people from their natural humanity. Why he can't transfer that concept to another group and language about them is kind of beyond me, because both his ethnic group and African Americans and blacks in America, not just people who are African descent, but people who come from Jamaica, or come from other parts of the world, that term also dehumanizes them in the same white supremacist power system. So his standing for using this term, I'm not calling people that. I'm just describing, a person that way, is completely, it's a false argument. It's a false argument.
Yeah. And also, I've forgot. There were so many points, and I should have gotten a pen and paper out and written notes. When he mentions the fact that Nixon and Truman used these phrases privately.
Yeah.
Do you not think, Dennis, that, Truman was clearly very anti-black and Nixon was phenomenally anti-Semitic. Do you not think that racism may have bled into their public policy making?
Mm-hmm.
You fucking idiot.
Exactly.
And that private views, when given enormous power, which obviously the president understandably has in the American federal system, that hatred might bleed forward into the fact that they were both very happy to be president and vice president during the time of the Jim Crow laws. They were still in effect when both of those, when they were in those respective offices. Technically, they were gone by the time that Nixon became president, but he was vice president before that. So that racism bleeds through, you fucking knob. So the fact that it was done privately is almost worse, because then the public don't necessarily get to hear it when they need to hear it.
Right. Because then white people,
because we know that much later now.
Racist. He never says anything racist.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it wasn't really known very well at the time outside of inner circles, but Nixon was incredibly anti-Semitic, and it was only because he was recording himself and others surreptitiously, because he was also phenomenally paranoid, that we learned that he basically thought all the Jews were after him, and actually they weren't. And Henry Kissinger, a Jewish man, was very loyal to him. So. Anyway,
yeah, well, Nixon is hardly a profile in presidential leadership and an ability, more like paranoia. He's more like Donald Trump than anything, I guess.
Yeah.
Except Trump's.
But it's the left. But it's the left that are authoritarian, Kristi. How dare you?
Yes. Yeah.
Big Daddy Den told us, so it must be true.
So Dennis Prager, still a piece of crap.
Yeah. I'll be honest, when Dennis Prager inevitably, as will come to us all, of course, shuffles off this mortal coil, I might have a cheeky drink. Just a little cheeky drink to celebrate. Come on. Comrade Death doing his thing again. Good lad.
Yes, he comes to us all on that. Yeah, and
exactly.
I really don't understand this almost like obsession that people have, and it's not people of color. I know that you're going to say, okay, people will say, and it's true, he's Jewish, but he's kind of works within the white Christian power structure, and his stuff is very Judeo-Christian. He really allies himself with fundamentalist Christian types. And now I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, yeah, I would say that on PragerU, they've had far more fundamentalist Christians doing videos than Jewish people.
Yeah, and this, like, Sargon too
So,
is
yeah.
so resentful that he can't just drop N-bombs. It's
Yeah.
one word. Like, you look at all the money you have, look at all the power you have, look at all the influence you have, and you can't say one word in the entire English language and every other language in the world. Like, you know, just deal with it. Just let it go. You can't. You don't have to have everything. And there's a good reason why that word shouldn't be coming out of your mouth, or my mouth, or anybody's mouth who isn't, like, linked to that history, because it's not our word to say. We lost the
Kristi.
right to use it.
Krista,
Yeah.
do you think this is how people are supposed to behave? Please.
Actually,
You're acting
yes.
like a bunch of...
Like me, going, stop
doing-
being racist.
No, I was doing the sun bit
All right, yes.
when he was going about, you're
You're
acting
being a
like
white
a bunch
dude.
of N's.
Yes, white, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so scrolling on, more, oh yeah, we'll come to this. Rick Wilson is one of the Never Trumpers. It's always, and one of the ones who, like Jennifer Rubin, are just on stuff. So a lot of times they're ahead of stuff that ends up in the news because they monitor this. And yeah, this is quite interesting. I'm not quite sure how Trump is going to react to this. And it was Rick Wilson just laughing, ha 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 ha, at this, because Trump is using the Justice Department to go after his political enemies. One of his political targets is Andrew McCabe. And the Justice Department today plans to reveal that it will not bring charges against former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe for lying to investigators about a media disclosure. So that can't make Trump's day. He's got to be mad about that. So I don't know if he's tweeted about it yet, but I'm sure he will.
Also, if there's not being charged, surely it's allegedly lying. That seems like... I mean, he's probably not going to sue.
He was already fired over
with
it.
Whatever the thing is.
Yeah, he was already terminated over it.
But
And
Trump's
lost
fired every motherfucker.
Yeah.
So who cares?
But
I'm more likely to think he's innocent because Trump sacked him. Like
right. Yeah.
That makes more on his side, even though he was the acting deputy fucking of the FBI, so he's probably a massive cunt. But I'm more sympathetic towards him because Trump doesn't like it straight away.
Yeah, I mean, Trump actually fired him in such a way that he lost all of his 20 plus years pension benefits. So he was planning on leaving the FBI in with a couple months, and Trump, the week before he was supposed to go. Do you remember this? Terminated him so that he lost all his benefits.
No, but it's just, you're making it sound like one of those films where, he was 2 weeks away from retirement.
I'm too old for this shit. Yeah. So then he wrote a book.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then he wrote a book about Trump and made a bunch of money. So
fair enough.
This is how Trump went after him again.
Good for him then. Yeah, try and steal my option. I'll write a book calling you a prick and make a fortune. Huzzah!
Yeah, so do you want to talk about these
UK
two?
Memorial Oh my god. Is Eric now the head of the UK's Holocaust Memorial?
Apparently.
I did not know that. Anyway.
Yeah, UK's
Eric
Special Envoy on Post-Holocaust Issues. There's a title for you.
Okay, that's odd. Anyway, Eric is a gobshite. I agree with him on this one matter, but he's a fucking awful person. He was a Tory housing minister and charged, believe it or not, his constituency was about an hour's train drive from London, and charged the taxpayers of Britain for a second house to live in London and all his commuting expenses, even though the government, in order to get benefits, you have to be able to travel 3 hours to a job in order to... and if you're offered a job within that distance, you have to take it, otherwise lose your benefits. So basically, he's a fucking piece of shit, as most Tories are, I suppose. Anyway, but now apparently, I didn't even know this position even existed, but he's the UK's Holocaust Memorial bot, apparently.
Well, technically, it says the UK's Special Envoy on Post-Holocaust Issues.
Special Envoy to what, though?
I have to whom, to where, I don't know. To the world?
Well, click on the link.
Okay.
It's a Pink News article. So click it now before Graham sues them. And
it's 404.
Article. Yay, free speech. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so it appears the and said, yeah, you shouldn't be comparing Nazi experiments to trans healthcare, you piece of garbage. Which I agree with him. Which just goes to show you, Not even if someone's an evil.
Hi, I'm
Oh,
Steph.
shut
I'm
up.
Abby.
Sorry,
Today
wait,
we're going to be
wait.
sharing some
Stop
secrets
the
from the
video,
elf.
Stop the video. Sorry, go ahead. Damn it.
God damn it. Oh, that's you silenced the black person there, Kristi.
Yeah, that was it.
Outrageous.
That was it. Yeah, she was. They were
Anyway,
both
let's listen to
talking
what the
over.
white man said.
Yeah, it just says UK Special Envoy for Post-Holocaust Issues, Lord Eric Pickles, condemned
Oh, he's a lord.
Linehan for trivializing the Holocaust by comparing it to trans healthcare, which is exactly the point you made last week on the show.
Shit.
He must have been listening to the happy hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, clearly. And if you are, please stop. Stop like taking taxpayers' money, you piece of garbage, Mr. Pickles. Please. Please.
Yep. Oh my gosh. He's been the UK envoy on post-Holocaust issues since 2015.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
But envoy to what? What is he to? I don't know.
All right. Pickles told Pink News,
Pickles
quote,
role.
oh, yes.
UK Holocaust Foundation Advisory Board.
He and Ed Balls, co-chair.
But is it Ed Balls? If not, I'll beat you.
Oh, it's coming up on Ed Balls Day here in April. Is it the 13th?
Yeah.
Something like that. Ed Balls Day?
But to be honest, I'm not going to put up. I'm not going to put up this year for Ed Balls Day. To be honest,
I think I'm just going to tweet Ed Balls for this year. I'm not going to do too much. I'm not going to hang any balls up this time.
Yeah, for those of the balls, former Labour minister back in the day, who was such a boomer piece of knob cheese that instead of going into the search to search his own name, went into the tweet bar and tweeted his own name out.
And then tweeted it.
So he just typed Ed Balls. Yeah, and then tweeted out Ed Ball, his own name. Which, I mean, we all know everyone's famous searches their own name all the time, obviously. But that's really embarrassing when he gets so obviously out during the middle of the day when he shouldn't work in. He's a minister that he was tweeting. He was looking on Twitter for his own name. Oh, for him. Anyway.
All right. So, Pickles told Pink News, forced medical procedures conducted by the Nazis in concentration camps were vile experiments in eugenics, clinically pointless, indifferent to human life, and tinged with sadism. As Mr. Linehan is found to his cost...
I'd go more than tinged, but okay. It's not necessarily inaccurate, just I would go further. But.
As Mr. Linehan has found to his costs, casual comparisons with the death camps and contemporary issues rarely work well and are fraught with dangers. They trivialize the Holocaust and undermine the issue they are propounding. Is that propounding? Yeah, by making the comparison.
Propounding, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I know that word. All right. Yeah. So, and then it describes it. Yeah. So, busted. Yeah. You just went and made it worse.
Basically, there are some very rare instances where that connection can be made, but you need to be doing it with a bit more sensitivity than just throwing it out there like, oh, I don't like.
Yeah, like, right now we have a concentrated group of people who are applying for asylum and refugee status in camps in the United States where they are overcrowded and in bad conditions. And let's say, Trump got a second term and he decided, oh, we're paying for all these people. They should do something. We should make them work for free to offset the cost of their care and their housing. That would be drifting toward the kind of bullshit that, that's a comparison you'd want to watch escalate and see the historic comparisons because it's a government acting. This isn't private people going to see a doctor.
Yeah.
It's a state.
Well, actually, as you mentioned that, it's something that arose in my mind based on, are we aware of the Wet'suwet'en people, the Canadian thing that's going on?
No. We start at the beginning and...
Okay. Well, basically, it got me to thinking of the idea, especially with James Cook, who's getting a lot more airtime on this show than I'd planned. But the idea of colonialism and genocide and all sorts of horrific shit, which in the West we've got this kind of rosy idea that we're past all of that now, and clearly that isn't true. In Britain at the moment we've got purely based on race, it would appear. British citizens being exported to countries they've never fucking been to in the Caribbean because their parents came here in some fashion without the right paperwork or whatever. But again, that's only happening to black people. We've got, Rolf Harris, an Australian white paedophile, has not been deported back to Australia, even though he was literally convicted of sexually abusing children. So it's clear that's clearly been done on racial grounds. And of course, the Brexit thing happened because fuck you, Johnny Foreigner was the basic gist. So Britain isn't past that at all. In fact, oh God, there was even a story of there was a man and his child. The child was born in Britain, but they were both denied entry to the UK.
What?
Their passports had been revoked whilst they were on holiday.
What?
So they were denied entry. Two black people, surprisingly, again. So Britain's not past that at all. In Australia, you've got, just concentration camps. There's no other way to describe them. Then they didn't even appear in the latest general election. They weren't an issue at all. They're just accepted as a part of life because they're on islands rather than on the mainland. So that's still happening. In America, obviously, you've just mentioned that they've got the concentration camps for migrants in the south of the country. You're building a wall, including, of course, this week, blowing up a Native American or Native First Nations people's graveyard, literally blowing it up
to make
in
room.
order to flatten the land for this needless border wall. And in Canada at the moment, there's a group called the Wet'suwet'en, which I believe is the correct pronunciation, given that that's how everyone else has done it that I've heard say it. So, and there are Native American peoples in Canada who don't have a treaty with the Canadian government, unlike many others. And there's a natural gas pipeline that they want to build. Certain people have literally said there's another route you can take around our land. We don't need building through our fucking shit. They've already been shrunk down to this tiny little pocket of Canada, just ridiculously small. Considering they used to have, they used to be able to roam around as much as they fucking like. They were here before the white people. Anyway, but the Canadian government don't recognise any of that because they don't have a treaty with this one particular tribe. And so the Wet'suwet'en people have been protesting, and the Canadian Royal Mounted Canadian Police have been incredibly brutally cracking down on them and basically forcing a situation where, even though there is another way they could do this, and it didn't have to be violent in any way whatsoever, in trying to force this pipeline through their land. And it's just disgusting. The way in which we treat people of different colours and races and nationalities in the West is less overtly horrific as it was in the past, because we know we can't get away with that anymore, but we still are as horrific as we can be, given the situation, given the mass media covering of, and it just makes me think we really haven't progressed that far. Like, we're not openly enslaving people, but you've got a huge prison population, largely black, in America, which you're using for slave labor. Like, it's
a way to.
We're not much better than we once were.
Well, it's
a thin veneer of civilization.
Right. We've removed the legal structures, but all of the social structures that were reflecting that and participating in it and recreating it just kept rolling on. Because just because the law changed doesn't mean people's attitudes changed, or policies even changed. By the way, I figured out what happened with the music at the start is I didn't loop it. So because I'd listened to all of it, it just went quiet. But now, if we wanted to, we could have Cog back. You can't hear this, Kevin? There it is.
Yeah, I can.
You can. Well,
no, I can hear that.
Oh, it must be sharing through the Zoom. So yeah, that's back now too. Hurrah, we are back 100%. And on Zoom, and your sound is really good. So we're having a good night.
Awesome. Okay. Should we do sad news?
Were we okay? Yeah, we can do that. I can minimize that if you want to talk for a bit.
Yeah, no, just a quick, for anyone who doesn't follow me on the Twitters and the Facebooks, and I don't know why you wouldn't be following me there. All the links are underneath my videos. Anyway, fortunately, I had some horrific news earlier in the week. Chops, who's the cat who came to live with me, and that's literally the correct way of describing what happened there. Fortunately, took on his last battle, this time with a car, unfortunately. Injured really badly. Looking to this, there's nothing they could do for him. So he's now passed over the Rainbow Bridge, which is enormously sad. But I just thought I'd mention that as my cats have become like part of what I do here on the internet. So I'll be keeping his little chubby face in my picture rotation on my thing and all the rest of it. So, but I'll miss him forever. He was a good lad. Anyway, but he's now gone to the kitten choir eternal. Bless him.
And I know probably for the chat too, for those of us who are, for me, because I talk to you and, Rory Cats and Chops are part of the show. And so I'm sure everyone is, feels their own loss. Obviously yours is the most profound. And I told you before the show that I was sending you a lot of hugs. And I still am. So.
Yeah. Rory Cats has taken it reasonably well, because I tried to explain it to him and he said, "Shut the fuck up, Kev." Just like myself, Chops is immortal, so I don't even know what you're talking about, you flagrant dickhead. And he went around sniffing the soft furnishings because he could smell it, but he couldn't find him. And that was difficult as well. Anyway, so happy hour, yay.
Yeah. I guess have you? I don't know if you want to continue on with this or move topics. I'm kind of taking.
No, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, you bring a pet into your life. At some point they're going to break your heart because they're going to go and do their own thing, or they're going to die, and we know that going in, and it doesn't make it any easier when it happens, but obviously the love and the joy is really enriching. So yeah.
Talk about enriching. If anyone wants money to pay for the fucking vets bill, which we threw the bastard roof, PayPal is under my video, so go and do that if you want to.
Yep, go help. Go check Kevin's and support him on Patreon or PayPal. He takes either.
I will dance for your coin.
Okay, so
anyway,
all right. So there was a statement. I know we talked about.
Hang on, no, you.
Okay.
Don't skip over Poland.
Florida man. Okay. Florida man.
Poland.
Yeah, this is Florida isn't for a while yet, but this was the latest from St. Pete polls in Florida, and also with the changes from last month. So
is that for all of Florida or just St. Petersburg?
No, I would imagine that St. Pete is just the name of the company, but they wouldn't just do the city.
Oh, okay.
They would do the whole state.
Well, I don't.
That's okay. No, it's worth asking.
But it is a city. Yeah. It's a city, Florida.
It is. It is. No, it's a legit question. So right now, Michael Bloomberg is topping the polls. Well, he's statistically tied with Biden in Florida. This was conducted the 12th and the 13th of February, so the last 2 days. Buttigieg is up 5, coming in third. Sanders at 10%, up 1. Klobuchar up 1, and Warren down 2 to 5%. Klobuchar is at 9, by the way. So it goes statistical tie for first, then fourth, statistical tie for second, and then Warren.
Third.
Well, yeah. I guess if you want to say, because technically then it would be first, third, fourth, fifth, right? Because the first two, if you want to, never mind.
Yeah, okay.
Depends what ranking system you want.
The fall of Warren is really dramatic, actually. Like, she was genuinely a contender. She's falling away big.
Yeah.
I think the whole "a woman couldn't get elected" thing definitely hurt her. Whether rightly or wrongly, that seems to have been the turning point for the campaign.
What will be interesting going forward is that I think she's got a deeper ground game in some of the farther ahead states that I don't know that Klobuchar has because of her limited funds. Buttigieg might because he was pretty well funded.
Oh, we all know about Warren's ground and pound game. Absolutely.
Hashtag lime
we've been told.
green
We were
dildo.
told. Lime green dildo, yeah.
So
she can take some serious day.
What I'm looking for, because these states like Georgia that I also tweeted out earlier and Florida aren't going to have theirs for a while, but I'm looking to see like the shifts where people are, where they're going, and kind of tracking that over time. So polling for me is more
Georgia. They're allowing foreign vote.
Yes.
What?
They're even allowing people in Georgia to vote.
Because that's a different country. Stalin was from Georgia.
All right.
That's the only Georgian I've ever heard of.
Sorry, that was some violent,
and
sexy
I think
dancing
he's from Russia.
Just knocked my mic with my knee.
Okay. In here.
Georgia. Sweet Georgia, or Georgia on my mind. There's a lot of Georgia songs. Sweet Georgia Brown.
Sweet Georgia.
Yeah. All kinds of stuff. All right, so we talked a couple weeks ago about Bernie Sanders tweeting out Joe Rogan, and then people were upset who didn't like what Joe Rogan had to say about trans people and black people, and then some of the back and forth from that. And this I thought was kind of interesting. I'll show you the second picture first. There was a dust-up with the Nevada Culinary Union in terms of endorsements, which they are now holding off on. I think there was some scuttlebutt that they were going to endorse Biden, but then I think they saw him flaming out and went, what?
Culinary?
Yeah, the Culinary Union.
Culinary Union?
Yeah, like food workers.
So, like, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant cutlery, as in like a coal mine. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, no.
They're very similar words.
I thought you mistook it for cutlery. A cutlery.
Professions.
Like they make forks and spoons.
Okay. I mean, I would just call it sort of manufacturing, but okay, if you want to get specific, they do the little plastic bits that go on the end of school chairs. Yeah, that union.
Well, this culinary union decided, they put up some information, flyers, I guess, that they circulated, and one of the things they said was, look, we've spent the last 10 years negotiating for what we think is a really good healthcare system for our employees, or for the members of our union. I'm sorry, not employees, members of our union. We think you've got a really good deal. We don't think Medicare for all would improve on that. In fact, it might take things away, so we're not too jazzed on that. And they just got slammed by burners. And it went on for, like, the story kind of hit the media because the union leadership, that's the word I'm looking for, who put out the statement and who are in charge of kind of, organizing the endorsements and everything, complained about it. And Sanders was asked about it. And one of the things he said, which I personally appreciated a lot, was this quote, "Anybody making personal attacks against anybody else in my name is not part of our movement. We don't want them." Now, today he came out and made a statement saying, I condemn all campaigns that have harassing people in it, but I prefer this statement to his own supporters. And I just want to kind of contrast it. I wanted to contrast this thing, which yay, I'm very happy. I saved this. I saved it as a screenshot. Anyone on Twitter, if you want to copy this so you have it in your pocket gallery, photos. And I just kind of contrasted it with Shoe on Head's banner right now, which has Bernie Sanders don't stop bullying people online. The strategy is working. There you go. That's Shoe.
Okay.
So that's what Shoe thinks of Bernie.
Is she smart, or is that...
That's what Bernie thinks of Bernie. I think Shoe's not part of his movement, I think, is what this all means.
I think she's part of a Babylon movement.
So, yeah, that was me. Oh, and then now it's time, because who is this in my bookmarks? Who is this very chin-posed, upward-looking man with the motto, "Seriously, fuck Twitter," on his profile?
Well, I love that because there's a guy called Clive Lewis, a Labour MP here in Britain, and Cug knows him because he's like one of his local MPs. And he was like, Clive Lewis, I got Clive Lewis to follow you, but he took some convincing because your banner literally just says "fuck Twitter," Kev. It's difficult to convince him you're a serious account.
He kind of has a point. I mean, looking at it from
that's fair enough. MPs got to be careful who you follow. Anyway, so yes, so this was a thing. Paul Joseph Watson tweets out, and this I'll get into why this is wrong in a second. Today is the 25th anniversary, and this was yesterday. So
75th.
today's the 75th anniversary of the Dresden bombing, which was beyond any doubt a horrific war crime. Right. And I just put Paul standing for Nazi Germany. Imagine my shock. Yes. Although I know you haven't retweeted this, Kristi.
I did like it. I did like it.
You did, but you didn't retweet it. So, I mean, thanks for the support, friend. No, I don't want a pity retweet. It's outrageous.
I was going to put an eggplant in it, the message. But
oh, well, that's entirely inappropriate. We're talking about war crimes here.
Well, that's why I'm glad you stopped me.
Right, so there are a number of issues to take part in it. Now, before I get into any of this, I want you to know I don't think the bombing of Dresden was super awesome or anything like that, okay? It was horrific. It was not a war crime. There's a very significant difference, right? Firstly, of moral level on which the bombings that Germany inflicted upon places like London and Coventry and Guernica and various parts of Poland and Russia, I don't think it's in anyone's. It's reasonable to expect the retaliation to have been even as bad as Dresden was, that the retaliation wouldn't be pretty fucking terrible. It's very easy to sit back in hindsight and pretend that we'd have been really nice and rational. Look, it's a huge privilege to be comfortable enough now to say this was really, really bad. Because at the time, most people were like, fuck it, our cities are lying in rubble. Our economy laid waste. Millions of our men and women have been fucking killed and destroyed. The fields of Europe were running red with the blood of millions of people. And the Germans did this. The Germans started all this shit. So let them have it. Okay? But just on a course of a number of the problems that people have with it. Firstly, the number of people killed has been massively inflated in the public mind, at least in part because of Kurt Vonnegut's book, Slaughterhouse 5, which was written about, at least in part, about his experiences of, I think he was a prisoner of war in Dresden at the time. And the Nazi propaganda that went around said it was some fucking ludicrously inflated number of people killed when it wasn't. The idea that there was no reason to bomb Dresden, again, is not true. There was a huge amount of manufacturing taking place there, and air support, air defences as well that needed to be destroyed in order for general bombing and parachute regiments to be able to deploy in the area. So there was all kinds of that sort of stuff going on as well. You had Bomber Harris, who was the guy who in charge of Bomber Command, Arthur Harris, who undertook that operation, who some people have vilified as the war criminal guilty of all of this. He was actually portrayed in the press in Britain as weak because he wasn't bombing enough in Germany, because he was doing it with such levels of restraint that the British public didn't like. So he was under constant pressure to bomb more and more and more. So actually what happened in Dresden, albeit awful, and lots of people did die, and that city, a beautiful old city, was destroyed, I don't think can possibly be conceived of as a war crime, even though, yes, it was horrific. So again, Paul, you are spreading Nazi propaganda here, is what you're doing.
Yeah, on that.
Over.
Yeah, we don't have to do that for. I think starting an hour later was also a good idea, but
yeah. Are we talking about the bombing of Dresden now?
No. Sorry about the Zoom. About the lack of. Last week was so difficult.
Because I don't think 1 hour would have made any difference to it.
No. Sorry.
It went over 3 days.
Yeah, that was just me free associating. That should have stayed in my brain, but it came out of my mouth accidentally. So throughout all of Western history that we have recorded, the practice was of destroying villages, destroying cities, sieging cities, and living after the Human Rights Convention, living after the establishment of an international criminal court. We have a completely different set of values when it comes to war, because we've now, through our societies, have internalized this idea that because our, in a consequence, in some ways, our weapons are, well, I guess they were always killing people, but our weapons are so powerful and capable of such mass destruction that military codes dictate the avoidance of civilian casualties whenever possible, and we target military assets or military targets. We don't just go and bomb a village randomly with no strategic value. But this is new to human history. And so as you point out, when the war was happening, this was just war. They didn't think of this in terms of we're committing war crimes, because they were just retaliating. And as someone, I live in Cologne. Cologne got the shit bombed out of it. Cologne, we still have in the area undetonated bombs from World War II that are uncovered. We had one just a couple weeks ago here. And so, I mean...
There was one literally found in London as well, not that long ago. Yeah.
And also...
Which is ridiculous. You think after 80 years, they'd find it, but...
No, they just lie there dormant until someone picks up move some stuff, they don't find it. Or in the one case, the river went down, it was unseasonably dry, and the river was just so low that the tip of the bomb, which was a concussion type bomb, it was designed to shatter glass, not explode so much as create a sonic force, it had to be detonated near Dresden, near Koblenz.
Well, they had sea mines were blowing up shipping in the North Sea for decades after the war, because there were just loads of them around the place, because sea tends to move these things, and so for decades afterwards it was a real hazard to fishing.
And then you get international conventions against mines, and landmines.
And also, can I just say, when you talk about and I think it is definitely worth just touching on this, the idea of targeting civilians. They didn't just bomb Dresden, like I say, because of civilians, because obviously there was a huge amount of manufacturing there. But there's no doubt that the bombing campaign was aimed, at least in part, at breaking the will of the German people to fight. But that in itself, again, doesn't necessarily constitute a war crime on the basis that they weren't deliberately targeting purely residential areas, although the bombs were very, very inaccurate at the time. They were literally just dropping them. They wasn't guided as such. But the point being, even then, and again, this is going to sound incredibly cynical, we're talking about a war that's taking place here. The theory was, and I think there's some truth to it, that if you break the German will to fight, although that's going to kill a lot of innocent people, potentially, the number of people saved overall in the armies that are advancing from both sides, and latterly we found in the death camps, of course, the number of lives saved there was probably going to be significantly higher, because the quicker we get this fucking war over, the better for everyone, was the theory. So again, it's not a war crime, and that sounds incredibly cynical, but when you're talking about raw numbers, the difference between 50,000 deaths and 500,000 deaths is very significant.
Did the concept of war crimes exist? I mean, this is also sort of like anachronistic or a retrofitting application of it. I mean, part of the reason we got the Convention of Human Rights and all of this stuff was because people were shocked by the devastation.
War crimes did exist at the time. Yeah, there were the Geneva Conventions had been around for 50 years, something like that, but they were very, very loose. In fact, the one of the reasons the Nazis initially, after the war, objected to the Nuremberg trials was because they were breaking completely new legal ground. There were no such laws against genocide, for instance. International law, anyway, there was obviously legal law in certain places, but in Germany that was seen as the Holocaust was legal, of course. So what law had they been making? So that was what they objected to. But so basically said they basically drew a new series of war crimes and essentially did retroactively apply them. But fuck it, you knew what you were doing was wrong, whether you thought it was illegal or not. If you're slaughtering people, you don't get to turn around and play legalese with it afterwards. Frankly, I'd have been happy if they'd just put you up against a wall and shot you, you cunts.
Well, okay, you're talking about the concentration camps here, not right in particular.
I'm talking about like Nazi war criminals, yes. I'm talking
about
people who murdered millions of people.
Right, but in terms of attacking a city being a war crime in that way. Obviously, the concentration camps were something on what had not been seen in that organized in that systematic way before. So that was, but in terms of like,
it was the first industrialized slaughter.
Right. So
in many respects, it would be retroactive, the law, because it was a completely new thing. and
Okay.
they couldn't allow that to just pass.
Yeah, we've got
Understand.
Mallory in the chat. And by the way, I see other people like David and Cog. Hello, and Tony. That the Hague Convention against chemical weapons were around during World War One. Okay, yeah. But we're talking about firebombing here. So, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. People smarter than me. But anyway,
Well, look, yeah,
know more about this.
the Geneva Convention on the rules for war existed. For instance, you had examples of on both sides. Unfortunately, war crimes did take place where you're forced. The only thing information you had to give was your name, your rank, and your army serial number or whatever. And they couldn't demand you give any more evidence than that, any more information than that. Unfortunately, on both sides, torture took place to extract information from spies, basically, which was illegal. The Geneva Convention said a captured soldier had to give you those basic pieces of information about themselves. Anything more than that, they could deny you. And if you did anything to try and extract that information, force, that's a war crime. Both sides did commit war crimes in that regard, but the bombing of Dresden was not a war crime. And anyone who says that is either knowingly or unknowingly parroting Nazi propaganda.
All right. Hence, imagine my shock at his doing it.
Indeed, yes. I would suggest it's been explained to Paul many times why this isn't the case, and yet he's still saying it. So you can't just cry fake news over things that have been studied for decades so people know what they're talking about, Paul. Fucking idiot. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and then we're back to, I think we already discussed this one the last time. This must have been in the last chat, which is, or maybe not, the Nevada Dems are going to use paper ballots instead of after they abandon the app. Did we talk about that already?
Good. That's probably
yes.
If we did, but good. That's a positive step forward.
Like, there are times that the technology just gets in the way.
I think it's safe to say the app experiment didn't go well. I'm not saying it can't be used in the future, but sort it the fuck out and whether it works before trying it on a national level. No,
I honestly think that the United States could learn a lot from the very old school, because you guys are old school in Britain. Sometimes you guys there's no school like the old school, and you are all about the old school. Football match of the day theme, for instance, EastEnders, and also how you count up your elections. And it's just the most simple thing. You give people pieces of paper, they mark them with a pen, put them in a box. The boxes are locked. They're all taken to one place, secured, and then they're counted in public. If there's any doubt, there's a recount, and then they just announce the results. And if anyone has questions, there's the paper.
Logistically, that's going to be more difficult, especially in rural parts of America.
Not if you throw enough federal money at it.
Well, there's the issue. There's the rub.
Yeah.
They're going to actually put the money in to make that work on the geographic disperse. Because even the largest of the constituencies, outside of maybe in Scotland, where some of them are mountainous, and those results come in like a day later or something, right? But by and large, they're very geographic areas you're dealing with. Whereas in America, some of those counties are fucking massive geographically. Yeah,
but you just go to the local high school. You don't have to travel necessarily for thousands of miles. You have just like one local place. Maybe it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because obviously counting can be done if you're doing a state national election. Then obviously each county can be counted at one location.
Well, counties would be too big, so you could probably do municipalities and then aggregate it up. But I mean, that's kind of, in terms of how I don't understand. Like, I know other states have referenda or whatever else.
No, what you need. I tell you what's much better. What's better is if we just let Broward County do hangings and fuck the whole system up again.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's what we need.
What punch cards?
There are going to be some people listening to this thinking, "What the fuck are you talking about? Hanging chads, kid?"
Yeah, I know. It's before their time now. These Zoomers.
Fucking Jesus Christ! I was watching a sports thing today. The guy, and they were like, there were people being represented in the round of the tournament, born in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and there was a guy born in 2000. And I thought, how can you have just got here in 2000? Where the fuck were you before this? God damn it! Some young people.
Yeah, that's the problem. The young people. No. Yeah. So what I did was, we had a basically, like, if you're American, you've done these sort of scantrons where you like fill in, you get ovals, A, B, C, D, E, and you get a multiple choice, and you just have to fill them in with a number 2 pencil. Well, in this case, it's a black magic marker, but there's an arrow head and an arrow bottom, and it's pointing at a name, and you just connect the arrow, and there's a gap in between all the way down, and you fill in the arrow for the person that you want to vote for, and then there's a physical copy, and you run it through a machine that scans it, and it scans the number of arrows at that location.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Just give people a bit of fucking paper. It works. It's fine.
I mean, even that, you get an initial count, and you still have a paper ballot. Anyway, so yes, paper ballots. Back to
and
the
the thing about the paper ballot, you can go through it easily if you need to recount for whatever reason, because things do go wrong. We're dealing with people here. You can just recount the bastard things. They're there, unless something burns down, in which case, I mean, what are the odds? But yeah, I mean, just give people a bit of paper, you fuckers. What I mean, it's not difficult. You're the richest nation that humanity has ever seen. You can put a few fucking dollars into running an election properly. What the fuck?
There's a whole underworld of these companies, or a couple companies that create these voting machines. And if a county looks at them and then awards the contract to someone else, they sue the county. So they're stopping them from kind of like making progress on these issues through litigation.
Well, that's why the federal government need to come in and say, get rid of whatever legislation allows them to even do that, because that's ridiculous. Because that's not a free market. If the government choose they don't want to go with your company, and you can sue them, that's not a free market. So the capitalists can't really complain. That's corporatism, isn't it? I thought you were against corporatism. Anyway, tough guys for Trump. What?
Okay, so I added the extension for Bot Sentinel to my account because I use it to identify bots, and as a consequence, Donald Trump comes up as untrustworthy as assessed by the algorithm.
Yeah, as he should. How thin-skinned is he? Because it wasn't as if fucking Larry David came out and was like, fuck Donald Trump, he's the biggest piece of shit ever. He just, like, he was asked a question at a thing and went, I don't fucking care. People don't like the comedy, fine. Fuck him. Yeah. Like, that was... And Donald Trump took time out from his day running the most powerful nation that humanity has ever known, running a multi-trillion-dollar economy and all the rest of it, to tweet out a video of Larry fucking David. What?
Yeah, I don't know if when the comment was made. Oh! It was because have you seen the clip?
Yeah, no, I've seen the clip of Larry David. Yeah, but the point is, why does he give a fuck what Larry David says? Well, this clip, no. What is it?
Okay, so I don't think this is in reaction to Larry David's comment. I think someone sent him this, and he actually thought it was cool. So we'll.
Okay.
All right, so we'll watch it. Oh. So here we go, Larry David.
Let's do it.
There you go.
Sorry, I didn't see you. Just be more careful next time, okay? Will do. Okay.
So that was it. And he writes tough guys for Trump on the top.
How is that tough guys for Trump? That's a man being a coward. Well, not necessarily being a coward, but being scared of a situation and using that as his defense of, like, an idiot, a violent, nasty idiot.
That was
would definitely react well to the MAGA hat. So why is Donald Trump like, that's a good thing? This abusive, violent piece of shit threatening the human being is a supporter.
Because he's a bully?
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, again, you're saying it quite a bit loud, Donald.
Yeah.
He's not getting this, is he? He's really not understanding the bits you're supposed to whisper.
No,
or not say at all.
Yeah, as this person I follow, Jay Reeling, writes, Larry David was making fun of you and you're too stupid to realize it. The whole bit about the episode is that he uses the MAGA hat to, like, keep nice people away. I don't know. And then, like, to mollify jerks. It's like so that Trump.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of the thing with the Carl Vosch stream the other week when Vosch made the silly joke about the study being from California and
Mm-hmm.
therefore like, oh, is it too liberal for you? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And then Carl literally took it was like, yeah, it's from California. I can't trust it. What?
Yeah, it's from a
I said a
state.
thing that was so stupid, it was obviously mocking your idiocy, and you went with it as if this was endorsing you in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You believe him. Oh, I guess I can turn this off. I was going to ask you about this. I mean, actually, I've got the septic snowman bus somewhere. I'm going to try to find it. But do you want to talk a little bit about the results of the election in Ireland? Because I know
Well,
nothing.
yeah. Well, if you want to, you can go and see the chat I did with
Two of
Paul
them.
Morin, who's a bona fide Irish. Well, yeah, technically my OBS crashed, so we missed about a minute of it and it split into two. So there we go. Yay, technology. Or yay, Kev's inability to use technology. Anyway, yeah, so you can go and check those out on my channel. Yes, so Sinn Féin, a controversial party, no doubt. They in the past they've had connections to a Republican terrorist organisation, the IRA, although terrorist / freedom fighter, that's a whole thing that can be discussed, whatever. But they certainly don't have that now. And indeed, Michelle O'Neill, who is the leader of that party, has no connection whatsoever to that past. But even so, they are a Republican in the Irish sense, and they're nationalist in the post-imperialist sense. So they want Ireland to be one united country instead of the Republic and Northern Ireland being two separate entities, which is basically makes sense anyway. And they're nationalist in, like I say, the post in the sense they want to create an island on the island, a nation on the island of Ireland, right? Rather than being like exclusionary, like they're very pro-immigrant and things like that, right? They're not nationalist in the American or British or English understanding of that word. And they gained the largest number of votes and technically got one fewer seat because the system's weird in well everywhere, but they actually won, coming from basically nowhere. Even say 10 years ago, they were a very minor party who were mostly known as a Northern Irish issue party. Like they run in both. They're the only party that runs in both the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and they're known mostly as a Northern Irish thing. Anyway, and so they're going to potentially be able to form some sort of government, maybe. Yes, and it's like a huge shockwave because they ran probably a more radical campaign than Jeremy Corbyn did in Britain late last year, but they actually won. So like that's really encouraging. That was a real positive step in the right direction. But obviously raises tensions now because it seems rather inevitable now that you're going to have some sort of move towards unification of those two places, which brings all kinds of shit up. I'm not entirely sure what the dissident Republican attack would be. I don't know why they would do that necessarily, because surely this is the greatest step forward for Irish republicanism for 20 years, 30 years, whatever. But there's certainly the potential for unionist violence, the so-called Orange Terror. So we'll wait and see on that. But in general political terms, a very positive step in the right direction after basically 90 years of two centre-right parties dominating. They've been Fianna Fáil and Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, which are both basically, like I say, centre-rightist parties. But Ireland's moving in the right direction, so that's good.
Right, good. Yeah, thanks for that update. Because I really am like just.
No, that's fair enough. They're not a big either geographic or in terms of population. They're big in terms of soft power because there's a massive Irish diaspora around the world, of course. But and actually, we did get onto that with Paul. The weird situation where you had the British government at war with Irish Republican terrorists / freedom fighters, whatever. But because but also licking the boot of America, even though it was American Irish descendant people who were sending money to the IRA funding them. So it was a really weird sort of triangle situation. Anyway, but yeah, so that's a thing. Okay. Never mind.
No, it was good. Thanks. I also thought this was interesting. We want to take a look at this. The Black liberators who helped defeat the Nazis and free the Dutch get their due. You want to check that out?
Is that act black person, or is that Justin Trudeau cosplay?
I'm going to walk away from that one.
Does he do historical reenactment? I don't know. Kristi.
I'm walking away from that one.
Just putting it out.
Yep.
But he's not racist. He's just trying to destroy the Wet'suwet'en and tribal peoples as well. He's not racist. It's fine. Super duper.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So the embassy of the
I'm
Netherlands.
definitely this channel. I'm going to get your channel taken down. Definitely.
No, I don't think Justin Trudeau is going to
what?
care about. I think they're pretty tolerant of free speech criticisms, unlike some
but
glitters
Nazis
I know.
No, I don't. No, I just meant like the YouTube being weird.
Never mind. Okay, all right. So the embassy of the Netherlands marks the 75th anniversary of liberation by honoring the black soldiers who risked their lives to end German occupation. He's 95 now, and many of his army comrades are gone. That makes retired, what's that? CPL? I don't know what the rank
Corporal.
of... Corporal. Oh, James Baldwin.
Corporal.
One of the last living black liberators, the African-American soldiers who rolled into Holland in 1945 to fight the Nazis and help free the Dutch from German occupation. Sorry, everyone. So this whole article just kind of chronicles this stuff, and
they took 23 cities in 3 days. Wow.
Yeah.
Fit.
We were really moving. We were taking the cities, meaning killing Germans and running them out. We came in and freed them. We liberated them. To know I had a role in the liberation of Holland means a lot. Wow, what a modest man.
The French city of Caen, I mean, it's a much bigger city than the 23 they took are, but that's 2 months to take. Mm-hmm. So if they took 23 in 3 days, that's pretty badass. Pretty badass.
Yeah. So basically...
I'm sure Lawrence Fox will come out and say, this is historical revisionism.
I'm sure.
No blacks at all. There were none.
No, none. None at all. I'm looking for more pictures, because those are the ones I'm like, oh, here he is. There you go. Yeah.
Badass. Look at him. Good lad.
Yep. So that's I guess it's a happy thing, striking down fashion.
Well, it always reminds me that Hitler did America as half Jew, half Negro. And yeah, they came over and fucked you up, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
I mean, Jesse Owens did it with his feet before the war, and these motherfuckers did it with guns during the war. So, and he outlived you.
Yeah.
70 years. So, just saying.
Right. Yeah, this is just an update because you guys know. Oh, this was Andy being a piece of shit that I was mentioning before, but I forgot. Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin, so.
Well, I believe it. I don't believe it. Andy is a
We're gonna wait.
Who cares about?
Yeah. But you know about the voter suppression. Of course, the Republicans everywhere are trying voter suppression, and this is just covering the legal fight to defend the access to the ballot. Many of the 232,000 Wisconsinites at the heart of a lawsuit over who should be on the state's voting rolls are reliable voters, with nearly 3/4 of them casting ballots in the 2016 presidential election.
Yeah, well, that's silly because Canada doesn't have presidents. What are they talking about?
All right, so who was this that I had bookmarked?
Are you getting really, really bored of that joke?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. There's only so many things I can do about Canada. I have maple syrup, moose, Celine Dion. So my heart will go on.
She also represented Switzerland in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Who?
Celine Dion.
Switzerland?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, before she became famous. Well, Canada don't participate, and then so a speaking country were like, "Do you want to sing?"
You can't. Can you just adopt people from other countries to represent you? Like hiring an attorney?
Yeah.
You can just pick whoever you want. I'm kind of surprised.
It's a joke.
You guys haven't outsourced.
That entire thing is a farce. Yeah.
Why haven't you guys outsourced your music then?
Because there's no point. There's no point. No one's going to vote for us anyway, so it's done.
Yeah,
we might as well not bother.
Yeah, the Brexit song.
It doesn't help that we've well, even before Brexit, constantly made ourselves pariahs in Europe because now they're like, yeah, we're not voting for you. I mean, even Ireland, who are like our close peeps, they'll throw us like a pity point, and that's about it.
Yeah,
It's
the English speaking bloc doesn't really have a strong voting connection in Europe.
Well, not just that, but we keep like, shitting the nations, and so they're like, yeah, we're not voting for you, motherfucker. Like, not only are we not going to give you top points because they're going to our next door neighbours because that's how they usually do it, also not going to give you medium or low point. We're giving you nothing.
I do want to say it is interesting to witness Eurovision as an outsider coming into it, because the whole idea of like the voting blocks, like people in countries, like in different countries, just go, okay, you're gonna vote for us and we're gonna vote for you and we're gonna support each other, and then like all the citizens just randomly do that. It's very good.
Yeah, so like Denmark give top marks to Sweden and Norway, Finland, and then Finland give top points to Denmark and Norway and Iceland. You know what I mean? They all, and then Russia give them to their neighbours, and then there's a kind of bull thing where they vote for each other, and then Spain, Portugal always give each other top points.
Yeah.
Whereas like Ireland some points maybe. Ireland give us one, mainly because we do generally enter shit, absolute garbage. But even then, Ireland are like, just give them a fucking point to shut them up. Jesus Christ. And that's it. That's basically all we get. And then we get that one, we're like, yes, 100 million well spent.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, like there should be some international relations journal article about like just the sort of bottom up voting blocks that have emerged through Eurovision and what ties these countries together. All right, so anyway, from that to different random shit. Well, there's this guy. This guy. Yeah, shut this guy up. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Are we doing Andy No first?
Yeah. I had to like.
Are we doing Andy No?
He was twitching in the bottom. And
he was ranting.
Yeah. Yep.
He was twitching in the bottom. Good lad. It's a Friday. Butt stuff.
So Talia writes, Andy No is writing apologia for a literal multiple murderer, and some of y'all still think he's a journalist. So what's this? An expert witness on trial details how Micah Fletcher, an Antifa activist, actually poured gasoline on the fire by confronting and fighting the violently mentally ill man on the train who is ranting about Islam. Yeah. So he's violently mentally ill and ranting, not being a white supremacist asshole, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine then. Yeah, that's again. If he's one of that, he's just mentally ill. Leave him alone. It's fine.
He's just saying horribly racist, hurtful things to people. So when people step up to stop that, don't stop it.
Back. If you fight back, you're the bad person.
Yeah, you're the problem.
What the fuck?
Just let racists.
Andy No,
rant.
please. I mean, still my favourite Andy No moment was claiming to have taken beans into the cinema for some reason, and because of his head injuries, he dropped the beans on the floor.
Oh, I think he just dropped them on the floor at his house. Wasn't it fruit or something?
No, I thought it was at the cinema.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I think no. He said he went to the cinema. Well, maybe I misremembered it, but even way. No, Andy.
He dropped something on the floor.
Hand-eye coordination. You didn't lose your cognitive ability to grip. You fucking idiot. Shut up.
You didn't suddenly develop a British accent temporarily because, you got your ass a little bit whooped.
That's really peculiar.
You basically had a bruise on his eye and you got $100,000.
Yeah. Already someone's come up with it. Discount quartering. Yeah. Well done, Mallory Walton. Because this guy, I mean, look at him. Yep. He's wearing a flat cap. What a dick. God almighty.
All right, so we ready for the pearls of wisdom about to drop from the mouth of this guy?
I can't wait. Considering you said he's twitching and that was distracting you, I can't wait. I'm sure this is going to be really calm, measured, and definitely an appropriate response to the level of annoyance or whatever that this is. I don't know, maybe did a woman in the cinema not have her tits out for him or something? Could he not masturbate over this child's cartoon? I don't know. We'll see.
All right, here we go.
But out of everybody in the United States of the motherfucking America, how many people actually fucking seen Parasite? Can someone please raise your goddamn hand and tell me, for the love of Christ?
Right. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to actually start him over again. He's talking about the Academy Award winning film because it wasn't an American film in English, you know? So that's what he's talking about. All right, so here we go.
Raise your goddamn hand and tell me, for the love of Christ.
Well, mostly because he's just freaking out so much. So can we watch it a little bit longer?
You know, well, I was just going to say, just because no one's seen it in America doesn't mean anything. You know what films do get watched? The fucking Fast and Furious films.
Right.
So American cinema-going attitudes should not be a great method of measuring the quality of filmmaking.
But Kevin, it wasn't about like in English and white people stuff. I
No.
haven't seen it.
Exactly, yeah.
I haven't seen movies.
Well, I haven't seen the film. Either,
It looked. I saw a summary of it.
Someone on the red carpet. So yeah, exactly. I saw a fantastic review. Someone on the red carpet asked him what inspired you to make a film in Korean, and I just thought, well, he's Korean. What do you mean? He's Korean, and he's writing characters who are Korean to be for a largely Korean audience. I wonder why he made it in Korean. That seems really strange. What a mystery. Let's ask the man about this. Fucking hell. Like, anyway.
All right, so ranting to close out the show here.
He should have just said, "Me not speak English," and walk away.
Just at that point. Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So white
he was really polite and professional, so he didn't do that.
So you see what I mean by the twitching? It's more flailing than twitching. Now that I pay attention to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flailing.
I mean, he's flailing spiritually as well as physically. Yeah.
Oh, and look at all of the stuff on his walls. I see a woman's thigh over here. And some more boobies there. That looks like a woman's midriff. Another woman. That probably is a butt. Okay, so yeah, discount quartering. That's what it's just so spot on. So spot on. All right, let's hear him rant.
How many fucking people in the United States of motherfucking America saw Parasite? Okay?
The United States of motherfucking America. Nice.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, the United States of motherfucking America. You should change that on all the official seals. Or, the office of the President of the United States of motherfucking America. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Kevin,
sorry, go on.
Thumbs up on that one line. Okay.
I don't give a shit about Parasite. It's fine. It won Best Foreign Film. You know why? Because it's a goddamn foreign film. Joker, and look, I don't care if Joker didn't win. I wanted to win, but it could have been Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Marriage Story, 1917, Ford v Ferrari, Little Women. I don't give a shit. But fucking Parasite, which won Best Foreign Film, Best Director, Best Picture. I'm sorry, if you won Best Foreign Film, you should automatically be invalid to even be qualified to win Best Picture. You should. And it pisses me off because...
Hang on.
Because you're best at you've already proven your best. You can't prove your best twice, Kevin. Let the white guys have some.
Well, no, what did he say? Invalidated or something. I'm not sure he's got a great grasp on the English language, which is ironic because he's arguing that an English language film should win.
Yes.
But he can't speak the language. Maybe it's just a really good fucking film.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
That's why it's winning.
Maybe people in the film industry know what a good film is and thought, oh, this film's really good. So it'll win Best International and
it's so
Best
good.
Film because it's so good it surpasses even the English
Domestic
language films, which are easier to watch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe America's making shit films. Maybe it's a year blip. Maybe they'll continue their streak of winning every motherfucking America. Will win all the motherfucking awards.
Maybe just be all Snow White. Just hashtag Oscars so white every year. Maybe he'd feel a bit better.
Well, when Snow White actually won the Best Oscar award, you know what they did?
What? They made an animation category. No, that was a beauty.
Well, no. They made they gave them a normal sized Oscar statuette, and then 7 miniature ones as well.
Okay, that's
Genuinely
cute.
true.
That's cute.
Which is cute, but also did give it to a massive anti-Semite. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, yes. And every car we drive
Mind
was, in
you,
part
in
inspired
America
by an
at the
anti-Semite.
time, there
Kind
was
of par for the course.
in America at the time, it was difficult not to give awards. Like, if you just threw awards randomly in the street, some of them would go to anti-Semites.
Yeah.
It was a thing at the time.
What
It was very
people
much in
about Joe-
vogue.
Yeah, people weren't casual about it. Like, they weren't trying to hide it. No.
Literally, the American Nazi Party
Yeah.
sold out Madison Square Garden. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, the KKK were marching by state chapters toward the White House down Pennsylvania Avenue or whatever from Congress, in the 20s.
And ironically, giving speeches by the Lincoln Memorial. Amazing.
Yeah. All right, but getting back to this guy who doesn't think a really good picture should win more than one award. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. If you win one award, if you win Best Cinematographer, you cannot win Best.
No.
It's not allowed.
Got to spread it out.
If you win Best Script, you're female actor. No, go away. No, you can't win. It's not allowed.
All right, hitting play.
Why don't they just have a white Oscars and allow these fucking idiots to just do their thing there? And then everyone else can just be like, let's have the real Oscars for just all of the films, including some white people, some black people, some Koreans, maybe.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, shit. Ooh. What is it with this performative shouting as well? I'm currently researching a person for the Cinemanosphere who's a female version of this. Her beard is not as luscious because that's not how that works usually.
But under her arm hair,
let's shout about superhero movie, superhero movies. Shouty shout! Like, oh, for fuck's sake! Like this is disgusting. What are you doing with yourself?
Oh, I completely missed the. Who is this? Is that Wonder Woman? Yeah, it must be because she's got her what do you call those bracelets? Not bracelets, but
the
those
whatever
things.
it is. She flicks bullet them and shit.
Oh, it's really cool the way that they do it in the movie too. All right. Anyway, okay, hitting play.
Okay, look at United States of America right now. What is more important to our culture
Hang on.
than
Whoa. I think we all agreed how it should be pronounced, sir. It's the United States of Motherfucking America. So I don't know what we've dropped the very important bit.
Gets kind of long.
Also, looks like he's about to suck off an invisible person. So,
all right.
good for it. It's Friday again. It's Friday. Go for it.
Speaking of Friday, and I know his mouth's in a particularly open. What were you talking about Dallas doing earlier? Anyway, sorry.
No, well, I at least made that joke. What?
His mouth. Never mind. Oh
so
no!
He looks like Oh, for fuck's sake!
That's all right. I got to America. I'm right back because I found the United States of a motherfucking America. It's fine. All right.
Good.
Hitting play because he's about to get All right.
More important.
You know, who also found the United States of America.
What's that?
The Vikings. They were there first. Fuck you, Christopher. Boom. Oh.
No, that was
Never mind.
No, that wasn't that was Canada. North America.
Well, okay, North America.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have all of it. We just live. Okay, so
you could have.
We could have.
1812 motherfuckers. Boom.
Yeah, that was not a very well organized war. There were.
Don't make burn Washington down again. Don't make us do it. You've been warned.
I bought popcorn in a bag, not like fresh popcorn, but like popcorn with a coating of corn syrup on the top of it. It says it's caramelized.
Are you American? Are you American?
I am. But I got that in Germany.
Oh, okay.
Crunch. Okay, hitting play.
To our culture than the Joker, about a movie that talks about mental illness not being taken seriously, about how people in high places look down and frown upon the poor, the poverty, and people with mental illness, and how we need to take this more serious. But no, forget all these fucking social problems that Joker touched upon. Let's have a better...
Yeah?
How many videos do you think this man's done on poverty? I mean, I don't know his channel, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's got entire playlists full of how he cares about the poors and the mentally ills, all of that. But I'm guessing he just mainly goes about like superhero movies and comics and shit.
Think so.
Which is fine.
Are you
but
not?
Don't pretend like you now give a fuck.
Yeah. Are you not wearing headphones?
No, I'm wearing headphones.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was getting a little bit of echo back from him, but that's not coming from your head. You're wearing your headphones, so never mind. Yeah, I'm sure that this is only came up because the person in his demo wasn't represented in Beck's picture. That's what this is about.
Oh, not just that, but the joke, for some reason, the right tried to make the joke into the new culture war thing, and people were like, well, okay, fine. To the point where I've not seen them, but I'm glad it didn't win anything. Not that I've got anything against the film, or Joaquin Phoenix, or anything like that.
He won.
I don't give a fuck. The fact that but yeah, the film itself didn't. Like, he was expected to clean up, and so I was like, okay, awesome, good. I'm glad it didn't. Even though I've not seen it, it could be a brilliant film. I don't know.
Just to be spiteful.
Well, yeah, exactly. Fuck them.
Yeah.
And not just that, but it's inconsequential. It's the Oscars. Who gives a fuck?
Really?
Like,
You're right. I mean, in terms of culture, the Joker isn't going to have a lasting effect on American culture in the way, say, like The Matrix does, in terms of how we look at films and how they're even
they still
made.
talk about red pill. Red pill's still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No one's going to remember the Joker in 15
now.
years. I mean, the God pill, the black pill, the red pill, the blue pill, the white
pill. Well, there'll
pill.
probably be another fucking three. There'll probably be another 3 fucking Batman movies between them, so the Joker will have moved on. Fuck.
Well, you know that they've got
Jokers have there been recently.
There's another Batman movie being made with Robert Pattinson.
Of course there is.
The shiny vampire.
Yeah.
So.
Shiny Batman, yes. Is the Joker going to be in that one? And if so, which of the million actors who have played the Joker recently are going to play him? Or are they going to try a different one?
Yep. So,
who knows?
Not really big for the culture. But, okay, I'm going to try to get through this. We're only at 127. Got a minute left. Come on, help me through here, Kevin.
Woke agenda, and let's go full fucking woke, and let's give Parasite, the first fucking thing they said, Parasite, the first foreign language movie to ever win Best Picture. Well, pat yourself on the fucking back.
I like the fact...
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's so incoherent that the fucking... The closed caption laid down as Paris. Like he's not pronouncing it to the point that the fucking legend is Paris, not rather than Parasite. Okay.
Yep.
Academy. Go pat your woke ass fucking selves on the fucking back.
Someone's mad.
Sorry. This is fucking ludicrous. It's fucking asinine. I can't believe this shit. And again, I wanted Joker to win. It could have been any fucking film.
English
Little
film.
fucking Women, I don't give a fuck. You guys could have gave that shit to fucking...
You clearly do give a fuck.
Yes.
You really clearly give a fuck, sir. If there's one thing I can definitely say about you, and I don't know anything outside of the, is that you do definitely give who won the best picture at the Oscars. It's the whole point of this rant, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet he's one of these motherfuckers, by going on about woke, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I bet he's one of these fuckers who accuses other people of being triggered at stuff. If he sat there ranting like an idiot about a thing that makes no difference to anyone other than the people involved.
It's really not worth getting this upset over a movie.
No.
He didn't make the movie.
Having
he wasn't
an opinion
in the movie.
is fine.
Yeah.
And not just, yeah. But he's even seen it. He doesn't know whether the Parasite's any good or not. He's one of these people like, I can't be bothered reading the subtitles. I've got to read subtitles, care about people who aren't white. Grim. Like a bees with pricks. So it's not like he's giving an informed opinion on anything. He doesn't know whether Parasite's better than Joker. He has no idea.
He's just mad.
So he doesn't know that it's woke at all. It could be that Parasite is one of the great classics of all time and it's just better than Joker. But he's made his decision. It's got people in there with a different skin tone and speaking a language, so fuck them. Like, go away.
Yep. So that's I don't know, do you want to do the last 20 seconds? Or 17? We'll finish it.
But Blue J Rhodes in the chat makes a very good point. Who wants to bet that he'd go on a similar rant if it was Little Women that won?
Yeah.
Of course he would. going woke. Oh, could they only won an Oscar because
they
vagina.
were women. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that him doing that
Fucking
rant
hell.
too. Yep.
I don't care. Shazam. You
Yeah.
could have given it to Shazam. I don't care. But a film shouldn't be nominated for Best Foreign Film and then also have the opportunity to win Best Picture. Because none of the other Best
Why?
Picture nominations had a chance to be nominated for anything else.
Because they were not foreign films. I don't.
Yeah. Look,
Why can't a film be so good
God.
that it's actually the best
There is
picture and the best foreign
This
picture?
is the film. Yeah, this is an award ceremony for all of the films, and there's a small bit of it that's just for the foreign films. But those foreign films can also win those other awards if they're good in those areas, including the overall best picture.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Why is he laying down this ludicrous, arbitrary rule? Like, if you're in the foreign films, you can't win best cinematography.
It's not fair for you to be that good. We have to stop you from being good enough to qualify across categories.
It would be really strange if the Joker was entered in best foreign film, considering it's set in New York, you twat. What are you talking about?
Here's how I think the Academy does it. I think any movie any category that has picture in it, whatever the best picture is, that's the one that they're voting on. So if it's best foreign picture or best picture, they can still be because also think about it. What are they going to do on the night of the Oscars, or when they count it all up? They go, "Oh, you won foreign picture. Now we're going to just disqualify you, even though you've got votes in another category."
Yeah, exactly.
People who voted for you didn't know you were going to win foreign picture. But
that would make it impossible. That would make it impossible for any foreign film to ever do it, because if you're not good enough to win the foreign picture award, then it's unlikely your film's going to win the main award. Yeah. Like because the way foreign films are treated by the Academy, by and large, you'd definitely have to win the foreign one in order to have any chance of winning the main one. So basically, you're saying, don't ever let these funny coloured chaps from abroad, don't let them ever win our award.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like it's the back of the bus for the Academy Awards. You know, like we just put all of the stuff.
The person in the chat, Gotham City, you uncultured swine. That's based on New York, and it was filmed in New York. Have you not seen the pictures of the people on the steps doing the whole dancing thing? It's so original, guys, honest. Anyway, I know it's Gotham City. Don't start.
I think that's why they did just kidding.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Okay? If someone's going to take me on Batman lore, something I know virtually nothing about anyway, I'm going to say, this is one bit I do know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
so who is
I don't
this
care.
guy?
I know I just went on that rant, but I don't care, so it's fine.
You don't care as much as he doesn't care.
Let's listen to the final 2 seconds. I'm sure there'll be pearls of wisdom.
Yes.
Yes, the technical...
Okay, that was it. So he's 22 and most obsessively rewatch Parasite, according to...
Hang on. No. That's the guy who tweeted. That's not the dude, is it?
Yeah,
that's a different
it's the same guy. I guess I'll see you at the movies. Him, he, 22, most obsessively rewatch Parasite. That guy. So there you go.
No, that's not that. No, hang on. But the person who tweeted it is not the person in the video.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am.
Okay.
Wow, it's late. What time is it where I am?
No, that's fine. I was just wondering because I was thinking either I'm wrong,
10 to midnight,
and this person has seen Parasite and is then ranting about having not seen Parasite. So that didn't make any sense. Okay.
Correct.
But yeah. So well done to Choi, who I'm going to guess is possibly of some Korean extraction, given that his name's Choi and Bong Joon-ho. Okay, that's interesting. And watches Parasite, so probably Korean is what I would guess.
Ah, yes.
I don't think I'm doing too much. I'm not doing too much Columboing there. Thank you, Joy.
Oh, and then we're back to Jordan Peterson and his addiction, which we did cover last time. So we are caught up. Vespas. Oh, listen to the glorious. You know what there was in my street last night? A horse. There was a horse-drawn carriage.
Victorian times?
There was a horse-drawn carriage.
That's ridiculous.
That made its way down my street. Clop, 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 clop. And I thought about getting it on video, but it was so dark and you really couldn't see it for the streetlights that much. So,
well, the horse was so dark. Why are you being racist against the horse?
The lighting was so dark at night. But no, it was a white horse.
That you couldn't see the black horse.
It was,
yeah, you're out of order.
No, it was completely white, actually. But yeah, it was a horse-drawn carriage. I don't know who got paid.
Oh, so you're being anti-white against a horse now?
Always.
Jesus.
Yeah, you know me and horses. Yeah. But yeah, someone must have paid a lot of money to have that, because they have them downtown, you know, and stuff. You can get them for the tourist areas of Cologne in the summer. Never really seen one in February. But yeah, so that was weird. And because Carnival is starting next week, all kinds of bands are practicing in my neighborhood too. Marching bands, not just rock bands. Marching bands are marching up and down the streets and playing music.
You've got horse-drawn carriages and marching bands. Now, I don't have either of those things because I live in a 21st century urban conurbation. So I don't know where Kristi lives.
Yeah.
She clearly lives in the Hanseatic League or something. I don't know.
Like the only other time I saw marching bands like they have here is like in high school football grids, you know, the iron.
Yeah.
Grid.
Kristi lives in fucking Prussia. That's where Kristi lives.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think about this new up-and-coming Bismarck chap? He seems like a good young whippersnapper, doesn't he?
His mustache. He's got quite the mustache.
Quality mustache work, definitely.
Lots of waxing on that. I think that's the end of the show. I've run out of bookmarks.
Well, I did, but that was an hour ago. So.
Yeah, I keep us going though. Yeah, so do you have anything you want to announce in terms of stuff going out on your channel?
Well, I've got a Prager FU that's nearly done, but I've got a couple of guest appearances in that video, quite big ones, which is nice. That's what she said. But yeah, no, I've got a couple of big guests in that one. And so I'm waiting for them to get back to me with the actual recordings, which is, I mean, I've only just asked them, so I'm not throwing shade. Not that they're probably not listening, but whatever. So that'll be coming out in the next few days when they get back to me. And Send a Manosphere for February, because I'm doing one each month. That's progressing nicely.
Cool.
I've been trying to chip away at it rather than rushing it. Well, I didn't rush it as such, but I did most of the thing in like a block at the end of last month. So I'm trying to be a bit more balanced with it, really. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
No one cares. Basically, there's nothing going to be coming out for a couple of days. But I'll probably do like a hangout of the weekend or something. I don't know.
Okay. But you got one you're tolling away at it for us.
Yes, I'm in the mine of Manospherian dipshittery, digging away for the gems, and then doing some dick jokes as well. Good stuff.
Well, keep an eye out on your subscription feed in the month of February for Kevin's Descent of Manosphere, Dome, as it were. And as for me, I've moved up my Sunday weekend winters to Saturday, because I'm going to be drinking at 12 o'clock on Sunday. I'm going to already be getting drunk. I have, it's Carnival, as I said. And the Sunday before Carnival kicks off is when I always do the women's Carnival party that I go to. And that's this Sunday. So I've had to move up.
Have you heard they've just introduced the moving talking picture in Prussia, haven't they? So that'll be good.
Yes, I hear.
Have they got a World's Exposition?
World's Fair, yes. Here they have an exciting talkie out called Parasite. And
the steam engine.
Yeah. I also have a video criticizing Shoeonhead for. I watched her appearance on the Vaughn thing. Sorry, not Vaughn. Vosh thing. I also went through the transcripts and used the find replace to look up words like apologize and sorry, which don't appear very much, or at least not out of her mouth. And I just want to document what it is that she said, because to my knowledge, she still hasn't done an apology video, or she didn't even say, by the way, that she was going to do an apology video. Have you watched her appearance on the Vosh stream, Kevin?
No, I'd rather cut my toes.
Yeah. Well, it's a good choice in terms of your time use. Yeah. But what she said was she wanted to make a video about all her past cringe moments, but she was kind of struggling on how to make it entertaining for her audience. That's where she was talking about addressing the Leslie Jones thing, was in a larger compilation of her racism and bigotry and...
So, yeah, I was about to say, her past career isn't the issue. It's her past race that's the problem. I don't give a fuck about it. She doesn't need to make a video about cringe. Make a video about, sorry when I compared that black person to a fuck ape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's why it was wrong and what I learned. And when I see my fans doing it, I'm going to tell them to stop because it's racist. That's the video we're waiting for, June. Not a cringe video of yourself.
But she's probably warning because she's been kicked out of Bernie's, so she's a police.
now that she's been kicked out of the movement for being, for doing ill in his name. Yes, and I see Benjamin in the chat. Alaf, yeah, kola alaf, kola alaf. Gonna be singing that a lot next week. Oh, and there's okay, I don't know if I should say this. I shouldn't say this on air. I'll tell you off air. There's an interesting party that I've had dropped into my WhatsApp. I can't talk about it on air. We'll talk about it off air.
Well, that's confusing for me and will remain confusing for everyone listening.
Yeah. So
hopefully I'll be enlightened shortly, but
all I want to say is there are some interesting parties going on in Cologne that I have an opportunity to attend if I want to, and I don't know if I have the right equipment, but I'll see. Okay.
What? Hang on, you're making it sound very Elizabeth Warren now. You don't know if you have the right equipment.
Actually, it's a kind of an Elizabeth Warren party. Well, the theme of it anyway.
Amazing.
The theme of it anyway.
Oh, okay.
So
is it Tarts and Vickers?
No, it's more like, have you ever heard, what is it called? The Kitty Cat Club in Berlin? It's like a sort of an homage. It's
okay.
I don't really know what's going to happen. It should be interesting, but we'll see. And also, Data Portdal, friend of the show, and in the chat, awesome, just put up a video about PragerU. And so go ahead and if you click on the YouTube handle, maybe you'll be able to get to the channel. Maybe not. Anyway, otherwise just search for it.
Well, generally it'll come up. Well, if you click on it, Krista, it'll show you. It'll come up with go to the channel.
In the dots here. Yes. No.
Yeah.
No, it just says report remove. Put him in a timeout.
Hang on. Click on the name.
Okay.
Click on the name.
I don't want to report you. I don't want to do anything.
Gosh darn it, Chris.
No, it's not. It's not letting me click on the name. It only gives me the.
Why not?
3 dots. Ich habe keine Ahnung.
Oh, God damn you, Emily.
Keine Idee. No idea. But we don't want to do any of those things. So, go check it out. And now we're really into the just talking shit part of the show. So this is where we should wrap it up. Oh, there's a hyperlink. Awesome. Thanks. There's a hyperlink. Go right after we're done here. So, from my awesome...
go before we're done, because this is shit.
Yeah, go
whatever
now.
It is now. This is
just wrap this.
Just gibberish.
It is a gibberish
rubbish.
I don't know if it's a BDSM party.
Yeah.
I think it's like just general openness.
Boycott, divestment, sanctions, tickism.
What? We're reading different parts of the chat. What?
No, I was doing a joke based on being anyway. Boycott, divestment, sanctions, masochism party. Never mind.
And no pics, I'm pretty sure. All right, so I am going to wrap this up from my co-host Kevin, and from myself. Thank you for watching. People in the chat.
No. It's just from you. I don't say thank you for watching. I condemn them for their own lives.
Yes, thank you for coming by, you guys, and getting abuse from Kevin, because, that's how he says he loves you. And, come by tomorrow in 12 hours when I'm going to be already doing another live stream to make up for my Sunday one. And I don't know if it's an orgy by Pagan Man. I'll have to look closer. It's in German.
It is.
The advertisement's in German.
Kristi said, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Dick's going to happen. It's what's going to fucking happen.
I don't know. I'll tell you what, guys. Next time, I have to go into my WhatsApp and get into my friend's feed, and I don't know if I want to do that now right before, right in the middle of the show. But if it happens, I'll tell you what it was like. I'll let you know the G-rated version of it anyway. Okay, so
Fuck the Chiefs.
thank you guys in the chat for coming by. Thank you guys for in the future. Thanks to the podcast listeners. And also enjoying the opening. I put Sargon in the opening of our podcast now. Did I tell you that?
What? So, no, I don't listen to us. What? No. What happened?
Well, now the podcast starts with, how about this? I'm just terrified of Kristi Winters, Kevin.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. I got him to admit that shit.
All right, so yeah, goodbye from me and goodbye from Kev. So say goodnight, Kev.
Good night, Kev.
You took your time on that one. All right, so now I have to hit end. All right, you guys, bye.